Strong thunderstorms finally winding down across central and eastern Kentucky. We'll show you what blows in for the first week of April just ahead.
A festival that brings thousands of people to Berea every year has been canceled. How businesses say it will have a major impact on the city.
This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening to you. Rounds of storms have brought strong winds and heavy rain to much of Kentucky tonight, and that rain isn't over just yet.
A WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day continues, and we begin tonight right off the bat with our Chief Meteorologist, Chris Bailey. He shows us what he's tracking right now.
Yeah, that First Alert Severe Weather Day getting ready to come to an end as the good news, guys, the overall severe weather threat is greatly diminished heading into the overnight. We look back at our day. Every little icon you see here is an official storm report received by the National Weather Service offices. And to our west, notice all the wind damage reports coming out of west central parts of the area. A couple of spots into southern Kentucky around Pulaski County with some trees down. Likewise into the Breathitt County area and a part of Madison County here. What we're looking at right now on your Defender radar network is the showers and thunderstorms beginning to weaken. Big outbreak of severe weather across parts of the deep south, kind of helping us out tonight. Poor folks down there dealing with a lot of tornadoes, but that is soaking up a lot of the instability, a lot of the moisture now. So what we're left with, some general run-of-the-mill gusty showers that are working their way on off to the south and to the southeast. Maybe a little clap of thunder with some of that, but overall not anticipating any renewed severe weather heading into the overnight. This is basically along our cold front that is slowly but surely making some headway into parts of central Kentucky right now. Severe thunderstorms, Tennessee Valley and point south. Here's the first front we're tracking in the short term. Another front to our west will arrive this weekend. Look at the curlicue with that one. That's something straight out of wintertime, and it's a 7-day forecast that has a look of a little bit of winter. We've got a wild ride ahead of us for early April, guys. A new hour-by-hour forecast and the potential for several hard freezes coming up at 11:13. I'll see you then.
Thank you, Chris. Severe storms did cause damage in parts of the state tonight.
In Breckinridge County, southwest of Louisville, part of the roof of Breckinridge County Middle School blew off. Students were inside at the time, but no one was injured. The school didn't release students for the day until the storm had passed. School leaders say they have a big mess to clean up.
At some point, we assume straight line winds hit our gymnasium area, and as you can see, pulled the roof back. There's quite a bit of water damage on the floor.
That same storm also damaged some homes at a nearby mobile home park. First responders say 2 people were injured there, and one of them is believed to have a broken arm.
In eastern Kentucky, strong winds damaging a fire department and a nearby home this afternoon. The Lotts Creek Volunteer Fire Department near the Perry-Knott County line lost part of its roof. Firefighters say a bay door was also damaged. No one was hurt. The fire department's chief says the roof had been replaced 6 years ago.
Very lucky, because I mean everything was right over it. So you know, if anything would have come on through, it would have got the truck. So luckily it went on over it.
Firefighters say they were able to get all of the trucks out of the building, and they say they can make runs as they need to.
In Jefferson County, a severe storm caused trees to fall in a couple of houses. One of them was in Shively, just outside of Louisville. A family lives at the home, but no one there was injured.
Very shocking for it to happen. And we were very afraid that the whole house would come down, but shockingly no, it didn't.
Another tree fell in a home in Pleasure Ridge Park in Jefferson County, but no injuries were reported there either. Between storms tonight, many of you saw this, a double rainbow. This is what it looked like from our sky cam just before sunset. People throughout central Kentucky also reported seeing that double rainbow tonight. It was beautiful. And a reminder, you can track storms along with the latest traffic with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. You can download it for free in the app or Google Play stores.
New tonight, with no agreement on a state budget in sight, the governor has ordered immediate funding cuts to all Kentucky public colleges and universities. The governor is cutting 4.5% in state funding for each college and university. When unveiling his budget back in January, Governor Bevin proposed these cuts as a way to pay the state's public pension debt. But the House and the Senate couldn't agree on them. So tonight, the governor went forward with the cuts, citing a state law that allows him to reduce allotments for executive branch agencies. Now, this comes as budget talks between leaders of the Democratic-controlled House and the Republican-controlled Senate broke down this morning. Both sides say they cannot agree on the proposed higher education cuts. The Senate leaders and the governor want them, but House leaders do not.
And we unfortunately have reached an impasse that I don't think we can resolve today. And it is just one of those things that we will continue. We still have days, but there may or may not. But I agree with the Speaker. We have done the best we can at this point in time.
Time is running short. The legislative session is winding down. If a budget agreement is not reached by April 12th, the governor would have to call a special session to avoid a state government shutdown when the current budget ends on June 30th. Now, budget cuts to higher education could threaten a 65-year partnership. Since Kentucky does not have a veterinary school, the state partners with Auburn University to offer 38 students in-state tuition. But students and teachers fear the budget cuts could change all that. Garrett Weimer has the story new at 11.
It's been Elizabeth Manson's dream to become a vet. But after years of hard work and even being accepted to Auburn's vet school, her dream could suddenly cost more than she ever imagined.
And this is honestly something that's going to impact the rest of my life. As I take on an extra $100,000 in loans, that's going to be years and years more that I'll have to work in order to pay that back.
According to numbers the Council on Post-Secondary Education provided to the Kentucky Veterinary Medical Association, it will cost the state $29,000 this year for each Kentucky student paying in-state tuition at Auburn's vet school. The KVMA says projected budget cuts reduces the number of those spots from 38 to 22.
These are border.
KVMA President Dr. Alice Mills says she fears losing more of those in-state seats every year, eventually making it unaffordable for Kentuckians to go to vet school.
We're not just taking care of puppies and kittens. We're the people who are in the front line that are keeping our food safe and our public safe.
Elizabeth Manson says she's committed to Auburn, but between her schoolwork and other responsibilities, she's keeping an eye on Frankfort, hoping lawmakers will do something to help her and those 15 others.
I know for me, I've dreamed about this my entire life, and just to finally get it and then be hit with this blow was just very, very hard.
At the Capitol, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Students have to finalize their commitments to vet school by April 15th, even though a state budget may still be in limbo at that time.
New tonight, corrections leaders are looking for an inmate they say walked away from a Lexington prison. They say 32-year-old Jason Arnold was reported missing from Blackburn Correctional Complex just before 8 tonight. He's serving a 10-year sentence for theft, forgery, and evidence tampering convictions out of Madison County. Arnold would have been eligible for parole in August. It's become a popular event over the last 20 years, but the annual Spoonbread Festival in Berea won't be held this year. The Berea Chamber of Commerce voted today to cancel the festival, citing safety concerns after recent protests over the Confederate flag. City leaders wanted the sale or display of the Confederate flag banned at the festival, but the chamber claims it couldn't do that without a new ordinance from the city. As Monique Blair tells us, businesses in Berea fear they'll be losing a lot of money without the festival.
I make things like this for Christmas ornaments, and I would sell at the Spoonbread Festival.
For 7 years now, Will Bondurant has sold his wood creations at the Spoonbread Festival. But it's not only the vendors who will be affected by the loss of the festival.
For the small business people that really depend on this, it's going to hurt.
But now that festival won't happen because the city and the chamber couldn't come to an agreement on the festival contract.
It hurts me, to see something that I thought was very special lost because two groups could not agree on it, could not compromise.
According to the Berea Chamber of Commerce, last year the Spoonbread Festival drew in more than 60,000 people to the city.
People from all over the state, just not Berea, people from out of state that come to it because they've heard about the Spoonbread and they want to taste it.
All 63 rooms at the Boone Tavern, a Berea hotel and restaurant well known for its Spoonbread, are booked the weekend of when the festival was supposed to be.
They always make a reservation a year ahead. I'm sure when they find this out, they will consider maybe doing something else, so we might lose some reservations from that.
General Manager Gary McCormick estimates the tavern could lose as much as $15,000 from the loss of the festival.
I feel really disappointed. economically is one thing. I just disappointed our community couldn't work this out.
In Berea, Monique Blair, WKYT.
The chamber also claims the city also demanded that vendors at the festival get a business license, something that also caused concern.
Tragic word tonight. We have learned a Virginia state trooper has died after a shooting at a bus station. What police say happened before the violence in 9 minutes.
And then what we've learned about a lawsuit in the death of a Southern Kentucky boy that police say was caused by a school bus.
We have a cold front on top of the region now. Coming up, it's the first of 4 cold fronts that I'm tracking into your 7-day forecast. Buckle up for a wild first week of April in just a moment.
It's time to wake up. You've got things to do, mouths to feed, work to get done. It's another Kentucky morning. And Kentucky mornings start here.
Good morning, I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith.
You don't have time to waste, so we don't waste your time. Simple as that. Breaking and overnight news, weather to plan your day, plus traffic you can take with you. Make WKYT This Morning part of your Kentucky morning. Weekdays from 4:30 to 7 on WKYT.
Clients come into the office. The government has said, no, I don't believe you. You're not disabled.
The major problem with Social Security disability is that most people who sign up are denied at the initial level. If your claim's denied, don't give up. Call us immediately. We'll appeal your case.
We can do an effective job of representing you that will get you the benefits that you deserve.
Call Morgan, Collins, and Yeast, 1-800-55-WILDCAT.
The AOP has had its eye on her for quite some time. We were just waiting for the right moment to move in. The vibe was anything but playful. Go. We knew we had to move in fast, but there was a crowd, so we had to play it cool. This is where the years of training paid off. We got the scratch-off ticket to her in the nick of time.
We're agents of play, man.
People think this job is all fun and games, but we take our fun seriously. That's what being an agent of play is all about.
Thank you.
Just doing our job.
Put a little play in your day with scratch-offs from the Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education.
This is Once, the Tony Award-winning musical about following your heart and your dreams. You cannot miss Once.
For 5 performances, April 22nd through 24th at the Lexington Opera House.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on 104.5 The Cat.
If you've been injured on the job, do yourself and your family a favor. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about all of your legal rights. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Stay connected to the news that matters to you. Follow WKYT on Twitter.
WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day getting ready to come to an end. That's some good news out there after a day that featured rounds of showers and thunderstorms. Some of those putting down some wind damage. Kind of calming down out there now. Temperatures still ahead of our front into the mild low 60s into much of central and eastern Kentucky. But overall, the pattern is changing toward a colder one. Still a gusty shower or 2 overnight. Cold fronts are on the way and green thumbs. My thumb isn't green, so I'm not on alert. But if you are a green thumb, you watch out over the next week and change. Several shots of below freezing temperatures on the way. Let's talk about what's going on right now. Those severe weather cams across the region that we were looking at earlier in the day, tracking those severe thunderstorms from the I-65 corridor to the I-75 corridor, looking much, much better out there tonight. Mainly calm conditions overall across central and eastern Kentucky. Second round of some severe thunderstorms hitting parts of southern Kentucky earlier. Some wind damage in Pulaski County, not too far from Somerset. Still some heavier downpours with that across the southeast. What we're looking at, though, across the bluegrass region now, generally just some gusty rains that are making their way on toward the south and southeast. So you will notice those gusty showers right on top of the region, middle of the overnight. If you were out this evening, you were noticing a couple of things into central Kentucky. One, the huge and vibrant double rainbow that we had. The other, the very cool clouds. Take a look at this video. Modest clouds. That's the name of what you are seeing here, and those are kind of rare to see around here, but that's indeed what we were picking up behind that big line of thunderstorms that ripped across the region a little earlier in the day. Very cool to look at. You often will see those following severe weather, and that's what we had out there today. Kind of look like little cotton balls hanging down from the clouds. Don't often see that, and especially when you get that set up right at sunset with the sunlight hitting them from underneath that low in the sky kind of a view. boy, oh boy, just absolutely a phenomenal evening for cloud lovers out there. Showers, thunderstorms to our west ahead of a cold front that has a lot of the severe weather now pinned to the deep south. That means we're okay across the bluegrass state. That front separating some cool air from some warmer air to the south. Look at the little curly Q, though, showing up across the Midwest. That is diving its way on into town as we go into our weekend. 3-day threat track tomorrow. Maybe a chance for a raindrop or two. Gusty winds out there Saturday. Winds are really going to crank. Could be a late day shower. And then that sets the stage for the possibility of a hard freeze come Sunday morning. Here's the new hour-by-hour forecast. Starts you out tomorrow morning. Decent enough day tomorrow. It's not going to be that bad with upper 50s to low 60s for most areas. We'll notice a little bit of a wind kicking up from time to time. Clouds will increase into the day. Can't rule out an isolated shower at any point tomorrow. Most areas stay dry. Chilly start to our Saturday. Temperatures into the afternoon, only 50 to 55 for most areas. Look what happens with that next front diving its way on through the region. This even has a little shot of some pink showing up in northern Kentucky come Saturday evening. By Sunday morning, temperatures are dropping into the upper 20s. That'll be the first potential for a freeze over the next week. First of maybe 3 or 4. Winds as we go into tomorrow, nowhere near as gusty as today. That changes, though, in a hurry as we go into Saturday afternoon. Look at those gusts. Remember, this is the same model that absolutely nailed today's winds that hit 50 miles an hour. It's forecasting the potential again on Saturday for some afternoon 40 to 50 miles per hour gusts. Hard freeze Sunday, spike on Monday, hard freeze Tuesday, spike on Wednesday, hard freeze Thursday. That's a crazy ride, guys, over the next week. Some models, end of next week, even suggest the potential for a snowflake somewhere in the Ohio Valley Thursday or Friday.
Wow. The only thing consistent about your forecast is it's all over the place.
The only consistent thing is it's inconsistent.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
All right. Hang on.
That's it.
A sneak peek of a new movie also raised money to help horses here in central Kentucky. The details in 7 minutes.
Toyota Nicholasville, we want to know what you want to pay. Visit ToyotaNicholasville.com and click the Text Us button because we want to know what you want to pay.
Toyota Nicholasville,
the big Toyota store.
Where price sells cars.
Good morning, Jennifer.
Hi, Ashley. It's great to see you. We love Ashley. She's one of our regulars.
Fresh from the oven.
At Kroger, we're family, and so are our customers.
Thanks.
My mom always said, to have a friend, be a friend. Come back soon, Ashley.
You know we will.
Red, white, or black seedless grapes are on sale for just $1.68 a pound. And red tomatoes on the vine or broccoli crowns are only 99 cents a pound at Kroger.
When you play Kentucky lottery games like 5-Card Cash, college students all over Kentucky are dealt a winning hand.
Fueling imagination.
Funding education.
The all-new Big M Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is changing the automotive industry in central Kentucky forever. Introducing lifetime warranty. It doesn't end after 10 years. It doesn't end after 100,000 miles. And is available at no extra cost. 100% parts, 100% labor, zero deductible forever. Visit BigMSuperstore.com. Shop the area's largest selection of quality vehicles, all with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Only at the all-new Big M Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Visit BigMSuperstore.com.
I love grocery shopping at Kroger, but sometimes life gets busy.
So I use ClickList. It's easy. I just order online. And with thousands of great items and fresh food to choose from,
I can get what I want the way I want it, then pick up my order at the store without ever leaving my car.
And for me, that's a game changer.
Order online, pick up curbside at store. We think you're gonna love ClickList. Try it now at Kroger.com/ClickList.
Chimneys are in a constant state of deterioration, and most will leak at some point. We solve this problem. Don't call a roofer to fix your chimney. Call Barnhill Chimney Company today.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on Rewind 105.5.
Toyota Nicholasville, we want to know what you want to pay. Visit ToyotaNicholasville.com and click the Text Us button because we want to know what you want to pay.
Toyota Nicholasville,
the big Toyota store.
Where price sells cars.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
What investigators say started as a training exercise at a Virginia bus station ended with a deadly shooting.
Police now say a state trooper and a suspect were both killed. Jamie Yukas has the latest on the investigation.
Virginia State Police lost one of their own Thursday when 37-year-old trooper Chad Durmeyer approached a man just inside the entrance of the Greyhound bus station in Richmond.
You need a perimeter set up around the entire bus station.
Durmeyer was participating in a training exercise to identify suspicious people at the bus station.
During the course of talking with the male subject pulled out a handgun and shot Chad multiple times.
Two other troopers returned fire, killing the suspect. Trooper Durmeyer, a married father of two, later died of his injuries.
The first person we saw was the trooper, and he had blood all over his head.
That's insane. Why would you do that? Especially if there's police inside. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, man.
Two women were also shot, but their injuries are not life-threatening. It's not clear why the suspect opened fire. Jamie Yukas, CBS News.
Police are not yet releasing the suspect's name. Greyhound says the Richmond bus station will be closed until further notice. New tonight, Lexington police have charged a woman they say blew heroin onto a police officer. Police say they originally arrested 35-year-old Anjanette Howcom on a marijuana charge. But while taking her to jail, police say an officer heard a noise coming from the backseat of the cruiser. Police say the officer pulled over and noticed heroin powder in the floor. They say Howcom then blew the powder everywhere, and some of it landed on the police officer. The officer was not hurt.
A wrongful death lawsuit has been filed over the death of a Whitley County child caused by a school bus. 10-year-old Jonathan Chatham died last year when police say a Whitley County school bus hit him after he stepped off the bus. In the lawsuit, his parents claim he died because the bus operated in a negligent and reckless manner. More than a dozen defendants are named in the lawsuit, including the superintendent, school board, and bus driver. The lawsuit asks for a trial by jury and damages in the form of medical expenses and pain and suffering. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul claims he'll be making a, quote, major endorsement announcement tomorrow. Through his official Twitter account, Senator Paul also claimed the announcement would be huge, a term Republican frontrunner Donald Trump often uses. Senator Paul dropped out of the presidential race earlier this year, but he has yet to endorse any of the remaining candidates. Now, tomorrow is April Fool's Day, and it is worth noting that Senator Paul has been known to use social media as a way to joke around.
A movie showing tonight at the Kentucky Theater raised money for a good cause. A special advanced screening was held for Harry and Snowman. The movie tells the story of Snowman, a horse that was rescued from slaughter at the last minute and went on to become a champion show jumper in the 1950s and 60s. The screening raised money for the Maker's Mark Secretariat Center at the Kentucky Horse Park.
Our job is to reschool thoroughbreds for second careers, so that they can go on to loving homes.
Harry and Snowman is scheduled to premiere in theaters this September. Beautiful place to see a movie.
Yeah. Well, the Final Four teams have all gathered in Houston.
Kentucky fans wishing the Cats were there. We will hear from the coaches whose teams made it. And Eddie Gran on quarterback Drew Barker today, and Mike L. Horton talks about Eddie Gran. Sports is next. Stay with us.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on Mix 94.5.
So, you've got these projects on your list. You've been wanting to update your kitchen, organize your closets, and build the backyard oasis of your dreams. But where do you start? Well, projects solved. The Central Kentucky Home and Garden Show is here. Need a reliable contractor? You'll find them at the show. Need a landscaping pro? They're here too. Bring photos of your projects and meet with the experts. Then compare and save with exclusive show-only deals. There's only one place to find it all this weekend at the Lexington Center.
It's ancient Greece. You're a shepherd tending your flock and you're hungry. You reach into your loincloth and remove 2 euros you bought for 6 iron coins. As you take your first bite, you notice a disturbance in the flock. A lion has taken sweet Euclides. You continue to eat, a lion in your own right. Man, sheep are hard to keep alive. Arby's, we have the meats.
Friday's Mega Millions jackpot is $50 million, and Saturday's Powerball jackpot is $135 million.
Every year I operate thousands of hours. I'm turned on and off thousands of times. I keep you cool and I keep you warm. I have the best 10-year no-hassle replacement warranty around. No worries, no questions, no hassle. I am Comfort Maker. Go to comfortmaker.com today.
Kentucky Lottery's Keno, the exciting way to have fun with your friends every 5 minutes.
Fueling imagination.
Funding education.
Want to fill your garage with the best value brand in America that costs less than the competition? Honda's got it. During Honda's Dream Garage Sales Event, we designed 2016 Accords, the #1 selling sedan, just $199 a month. Or drive with 0 down, 0 security, and 0 first month's payment. Accords, available with Honda Lane Watch, Brake Assist, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and more. Just $199 a month or 0 due at signing. Honda's got it at your Central Kentucky Honda dealers.
There are 2 camps of DQ S'mores Blizzard lovers, Camp S'mores and the new Camp Oreo S'mores. Camp S'mores, Camp Oreo S'mores, Camp S'mores, Camp Oreo S'mores, Camp S'mores, Camp Oreo S'mores. A camp for the traditionalist and a camp for the adventurous. Which s'mores camp will you be in? Try the s'mores and new Oreo S'mores Blizzard treat today. This is fan food, not fast food.
You may be entitled to $1,500 for each call you've received from any company collecting a debt. Seems too good to be true, but it's the law.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on 100.1 WKQQ.
When I needed a new furnace, I did my research, found out that Comfort Heating and Air had the highest reviews on Google and Angie's List. So I went with Comfort Maker's 10-year no-hassle warranty. Do what I did, call the Comfort Man today.
Eddie Gran has been putting in a new pro-style offense for the Cats this spring, and he was not satisfied after practice this morning. Gran said the offense was inconsistent, not efficient on first down, and not as good on third down as the unit was in last Saturday's scrimmage. The inconsistency today included quarterback Drew Barker.
You know, you look at that scrimmage, he was 5 for 5, led, did everything you ask a quarterback to do, and he come back today and not so good, threw too many interceptions, and, if he throws an interception, he comes back. Coach Henshaw did a great job today of getting him to recover, and that's what our quarterback has to do. So I did see some good things, but we're gonna stay on them. Those guys got to be great. They just can't be average. They can't be inconsistent. If they're inconsistent, then we're in trouble.
At running back, the Cats have everybody coming back, including Michael Horton, who's now going into his junior year. Horton likes what he sees in Eddie Gran.
It's a major change just because of his style of coaching. His style of coaching is hammer. Like, if it's wrong, he's on you, but he's gonna correct you. He's gonna correct. It's correct. It's to the point where you don't want to get yelled at again. So you're gonna make sure you do it right, and that's the discipline we need. So it's affecting everybody, to receivers, to running backs, not just my position group. And you could tell when I noticed it when we scrimmaged how we played as a team, and we were perfect with our assignments.
He is a ferocious rebounder and is fond of saying his motor does not stop. Big man Bam Adebayo, one of the bright spots in last night's McDonald's All-American game in Chicago that featured 4 future Wildcats. Adebayo had last night's only double-double, going 6 of 9 from the field for 16 points, hauling in a game-high 12 rebounds. His future Wildcat teammates were impressed.
Bam's been dominant. That's what he does. He goes out there, rebounds everything he can, and dunks everything. So that's Bam.
Bam played well. I think he had 16 points, 12 rebounds. That's what he's going to do next year. So it's the norm for him now. It's pretty normal.
It's real tough because everybody, they want to show off for their family and their friends. But I just go out here and just play hard and just play together.
Alex Poitras signing autographs today down at Wildcat Warehouse in Hazard. What advice does he have for the talented recruits headed into Kentucky?
It's going to be a great group of guys. They got a lot of them. If they come, and my advice is they come in working hard, and the sky's the limit for them. Just hard work from the beginning.
All right, North Carolina, Syracuse, Villanova, and Oklahoma are at the Final Four in Houston. Here's just a little bit of what the Final Four coaches had to say today.
Jimmy Boeheim's Syracuse team is really good and deserves to be here because they beat teams to get here.
They didn't vote Syracuse to get here. They beat teams to get here.
It's 7 guys, and we really need all hands on deck. We can't be successful in a game situation that we don't have all our guys.
You know, you get to see how much you've improved over the season. We played an outstanding team. We've watched them get better on TV, and we've gotten a lot better, and we'll see how much improvement we made.
I think along with Kansas, maybe Oregon, the last 6 weeks of the season, probably playing better than anyone else in the country. Maybe North Carolina in that group as well. But yeah, I just love his team, and I think he's got them playing the way coaches want, all want their teams to play.
Playing great at the right time of the year. Tomorrow, Kentucky basketball will make what is being called a special announcement. No word as to what it is. We will stream it live for you at WKYT.com, 2 o'clock from Memorial Coliseum. So you won't want to miss that. We'll be right back to wrap it up after the break.
Dare to compare. This LG 49-inch LED TV is $449 at H.H. Gregg and only $399 at P-Rack. Save $170 over Lowe's on this Maytag washer, plus free gift cards up to $500.
Nobody beats P-Racks.
We're pleased to announce that we now have Honda in Richmond, which means you can shop and compare the 4 leading brands all in one location. So where else can you shop and compare the 4 best brands, be only minutes from Fayette County, work with one salesperson, and only have to have your car appraised once? For your convenience, out of respect for your time, we now offer Gates Honda, Gates Hyundai, Gates Nissan, and Toyota South, all on the bypass in Richmond.
We're all for traditions, but sometimes you gotta throw something new in the smoker. Slow smoked chicken wings at Sonny's Barbecue. Get them as an appetizer or in a combo starting at $10.99. Sonny's Barbecue, local pit masters since '68.
Hi, Shane Huffman with Neil Huffman Honda in Frankfort, where today you can lease a brand new 2016 Honda CR-V for just $259 a month. Plus, we're going to back all our deals with our 110% price protection guarantee. That's Neil Huffman Honda in Frankfort. Huffman has it.
At Hair Win, we've been helping people for 125 years.
If you've been injured in a life-changing accident, we can help.
Contact us at helpingkentucky.com.
Hair Win. Visit helpingkentucky.com.
Lexington Overstock Warehouse is open this weekend for our Spring Savings Warehouse Sale. Get quality furniture and mattresses at incredibly low prices. Stylish sofa $297. All wood queen sleigh bed $177. Go to LexingtonOverstockWarehouse.com for more details.
With a heavy-duty welded steel deck and patented smooth track steering, the Hustler Raptor zero-turn mower doesn't play around. It's got the power to turn your weekend to-do list into your weekend to-done list. The legendary Hustler Raptor family starting at just $27.99. Tools, not toys.
Get your Hustler mower at Pat's Garden Center in Stanford and Southern States Co-op of London.
It's early, and you need a breakfast built for work days, not weekdays. Say good morning to the $3 breakfast with the chicken and gravy breakfast burrito from your DQ. Our famous chicken strip plus eggs, cheese, and pepper gravy wrapped up in a warm flour tortilla, served with crispy hash browns and coffee, all for just $3. Now this is a breakfast built for work days. The chicken and gravy breakfast burrito, just one of our delicious $3 breakfasts, only at your DQ. This is fan food, not fast food.
Step up your game with Family Feud. Welcome to the family, baby.
One full hour starting at 7 on the CW Lexington.
Get this Tempur-Pedic bundle with mattress, adjustable base, 2 memory foam pillows, mattress protector, and a free 50-inch TV. As low as $49 a month with the power of 60 months, 0 interest.
Nobody beats P-Racks.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on Wild 1039.
All right, we saw some storms. We've got a little bit of quiet going on, and then we've got another round, right?
One more little round that is making its way across the Ohio River counties now. It's mainly just some showers. You can hear a rumble of thunder tonight. The overall severe weather threat, though, greatly diminished from where we were earlier in the day. A lot of that severe weather tied up across parts of the deep south. But middle of the night, still some gusty winds and those leftover showers blowing through.
All right. Stay safe out there, and thanks for watching.
We'll see you back here tomorrow. It's Friday.